Yo, 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 I'm here again with another product that has floored me. I've owned this product for maybe 8 years now. I used to live in a house that had a very bouncy floor, so my drums were bouncing everywhere. I was also on carpet, so it's a little too much give. The kick drum pedal sliding with the kick drum, all that kind of thing. And anytime I hit a drum, every drum rang, and so forth. So since I've been on this itch with isolation, not just in the last video, but so much more so in the last year or two, I've been on a mission to kind of like get the perfect drum isolation in all regards possible. I was recording the other day, and I noticed that my kick drum was very unfocused, and it was sliding. It was literally, and I'll show you here in a second. I'll turn the camera around. It was sliding on the carpet, not as in forward and staying there like when you're outdoors and you don't have something to grip. It would like sway forward and then come back and resolve because the carpet fibers are actually shifting with it because it's not sturdy. So I just wanted a hard surface. And then I remembered I had it thrown out, and thank God I didn't, and a product called Auralex Platfoam. They're very rigid. It's a very rigid pieces of foam that gets glued underneath some type of hard surface that you want to use. I use something called medium density fiberboard because it's very sturdy, but still has a lot of give to it in the sense of it can take, it's a really good shock absorber, I would say, maybe put it that way. So it's not exactly a hardwood floor or like plywood, but it's kind of a little softer than plywood. But let me turn this around. All right, so here's my drum kit. There's the riser. It's the white material, medium density fiberboard. This is actually two pieces of 4 foot by 8 foot. So just imagine drywall, but two of them back to back. If I walk to the back here and move this piece of carpet, we can quickly see that there's a seam. As you see, it's a little damaged from traveling from state to state with it. I didn't use it in my last residence because I was in a basement with a very low ceiling. So to lift the drums even higher, I would have lost ceiling height and made the overhead sound worse. So it was a pretty sturdy floor, so I couldn't complain too much. But this platform stuff, what I was dealing with was every time I would hit this kick drum, DW9000 had this for 14 years now, works like a charm. I would hit the kick drum, and hopefully my body's not shaking so you can kind of see. Right now it's sturdy, like the kick pedal doesn't go anywhere. It obviously has grip on the carpet, and so does the kick drum. Well, the kick drum would actually shift forward and back every time I hit and make it sound smeary. And much like a digital clock, for those of you who have experienced that in a recording studio, when you get a really good clock, it brings things into focus, and your center image and anything you pan is very, very three-dimensional, or at least a lot more than it used to be. And that's a very similar experience I had with this platform. So if I drop down low, hopefully you can see it's a little shadowy. I have the foam going left to right all the way across. That's why it just looks like one solid dark piece. If you come here, you can kind of see the gaps. So they're spaced evenly across the entire riser. So all this takes prep, but man, it changes your life. I've seen people complain that they bought this stuff and their hi-hat's still shaking, and I'm like, you know what? You have to have a crappy hi-hat stand. I'm sorry. I mean, I have a good stand. It doesn't bounce. Right before I recorded, I would hit the kick, and every tom would ring. Boom, boom, boom. Just like you'd experience on any kit, especially this maple kit. It's a very thin shell, so it vibrates freely and easily. However, when I did this, like, it reduced by 75%, literally. I'm not even exaggerating. So there's very little resonance now, so meaning that gating doesn't have to be as excessive every time the kick hits or removing the dead space in the track. So makes me very happy. Before I turn this camera around, so let me just show you this product. If I go right here, Sweetwater, love them. This has actually gone down. I think it used to be 400. I could be wrong. Or it's about 300. It comes with the, I don't know if it's 12 or 16 pieces that get glued on to the bottom of the medium density fiberboard, but just pretty much expect another $75 or so for the two pieces of 4 foot by 8 foot pieces of wood. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that because it's the little things in recording drums that make it go a long way. And for those of you who have a home recording studio, know that it's very frustrating. So like, even though I'm finally in a much bigger room, which seems to be a good thing, every room has pros and cons. I have treatment. It's not terrible. I got some ceiling clouds above the mix position, the drum position. I got stuff hung on the walls, very intentionally and specific placement. But I feel like I can use more because the room is big. As you see, I got those angled side walls because this is kind of more like an attic space. So they do have some reflections, but the floor is carpet, so I can't complain because that helps absorb some of those reflections. But anyway, I want to share that with you. So those of you who are suffering from more resonant issues, because this helps bring it to focus, you feel like your drums are too shaky every time you hit any piece of hardware, like a cymbal, a snare, whatever, every drum is ringing. This is the product for you. So I've used this several different times, mostly when a floor is like this one, where it's a little bouncy because it's not super sturdy joist-wise. This is for you. So I will add one more thing. I apologize. I know this is going really long. This floor is actually not bad. Like, I've been in houses where, yeah, like if I start bouncing my body up and down, I could feel the wood underneath like flexing. This is actually not, and it feels super sturdy. And so I was excited. I was like, oh, great. I don't have to bring up the riser, and it may be sturdy or whatever, and save room in this space here. However, it wasn't the case. It just shows you that things could be misleading, and you should just stick to a standard that you know works and use it anywhere you go. There's drummers like Kenny Arnoff that have product like this that he literally leaves at studios because he wants the same kind of response anywhere he goes, because it's very consistent wherever you go. And those are even some multi-million-dollar studios that have a beautiful layout. So that's it, guys. I just want to show you this. I know drums are complicated, so any information is good information. But be blessed, guys.